So here we are at the start of week number 3, and let's have a little AusVotes reality check. Now, the Essential poll came out today, and this was used by Kevin Rudd and all of his Labor buddies to say, oh, we're still in the hunt, it still might be 50-50. Here's why you should ignore the Essential poll, because it is run by former Labor staffers. So you've got to just think, do they have a little horse in the race? But anyway, let's dismiss that and have a look at some other opinion polls. Here are the facts going into week 3. This is why the election is, well, not over, but almost. News poll. You've seen this one all over the place today. 54-46. I've got to say that feels a little too hot, but if things keep going the way they have with Kevin, his stupidity with the ads, the ego, the holding up the $5, the $50, the It's All About Me campaign. Also interesting to note, on the central coast of New South Wales, the vote is exactly the same. Now, I thought that the Labor Party was going to hold the seat of Dobell. I thought they'd be able to hold on in Robertson. They will get smashed there. If that happens, the election's over. Before we even start, the election is over. Because once you throw in the 2 National Parties seats taking over from Oakeshott and Windsor, those 2 seats, bang, change of government. But also worth noting, and this is the trend that the press do not cover, it's how's Kevin Rudd doing? Now, these are polls taken every 2 weeks from the first column, which is the week when he returned to the job. The undecideds, and I've made this point before, but this is the key indicator. Remember, it's all about Kevin Rudd. When he came back to the job, after getting rid of Julia Gillard, remember she didn't resign, he did the knifing this time, 28% of people were undecided. 36-36 when it came to satisfied, unsatisfied. Slowly but surely, as you can see, his undecided numbers go down, his satisfied number goes up, but basically stays the same, and anyone who was undecided starts becoming unsatisfied. 21, 17, 15, 13, and today it's just 11%. And even if you took 100% of the 11, added to the 35, there are still more people who think that Kevin Rudd is doing a bad job. Remember, the election campaign for Labor is all about Kevin Rudd. They'll try and make it a scare campaign about Tony Abbott, but you know and I know the only way they can get to victory is through Kevin Rudd, and he ain't going to win. So, of course, you're going to say, well, of course you're going to rely upon those evil Murdoch polls, Paul. Well, it isn't just the evil Murdoch polls. Let's have a look. In the JWS poll, this came out from the Financial Review. Last time I checked, that's not owned by Rupert Murdoch. It's part of the Fairfax stable. In these seats, Ford, that's the place where Peter Beattie's running, he'll get smashed. 60-40. Corangamine, that's in Victoria, 53-46. In the seat of Lindsay, 60-35. Now, these are the first preference votes that are counted by JWS. Unbelievable stuff. In Banks, that's currently held by Darryl Mellom. The Labor Party would lose that, 52-47. Greenway, because of that idiot James Diaz, I told them they should get rid of him. Labor could end up holding on to that thing, even with the slide that's going against Kevin Rudd now. And in the seat of Brisbane, the Liberals would win that one, 54-45. But remember, it's not just that poll. Another one worth having a look at. This one's from Channel 7. Again, last time I checked, Rupert Murdoch doesn't even have a television that can pick up Channel 7, let alone actually owning the damn thing. But in the seat of Blaxland, the ALP would hold on to that. In the seat of Bennelong. Now, this seat is important because this is the seat that Kevin Rudd and his people have been running around telling journalists, oh, mate, we're over the line there, just between you and I. We are so sweet, we're going to win this seat. Well, could somebody tell the people who are actually voting? 65-35. And in Kingsford Smith, the place where Matt Thistlethwaite, the former Labor senator, a bloke who got car up and he got sweethearted into Peter Garrett's old seat, the Libs would end up winning that. Well, guess what? There's another poll. Just before you think that, again, it's all just about those evil Murdoch polls. This one is run by the Guardian newspaper. Now, the Guardian newspaper, last time I checked, were actually the people who were essentially sponsoring Edward Snowden. You know the bloke who's that massive NSA leaker? This ain't a right-wing newspaper, OK? Their national poll says 48-52. In the seat of Lindsay, primary vote, 60% to the Libs. The state-based figures, and this is what really matters. In New South Wales, Kevin Rudd is losing the election. In Victoria, Kevin Rudd is losing the election. And in the place where Kevin comes from, the place where people who on the bus want to tell you he's the hometown hero, 50-34, Kevin Rudd is losing the election. By any angle, by any poll, by any objective looking at all of this, Tony Abbott looks like he will be our next Prime Minister. But more importantly, Kevin Rudd is losing this election. And that's why he looks desperate. That's why the ads are getting nasty. Remember, they've launched their third negative ad in less than a week. The latest one looks like the Grim Reaper ad. That in and of itself is ridiculous. And while Kevin Rudd thinks that it'll be a great way to scare kids into thinking that Tony Abbott's going to be the evil man who's sleeping underneath their bed or hiding inside their closet, their parents will be able to say, no, it's okay, he's just going to be the next Prime Minister. Because you see, they have made their decision about Kevin Rudd. As I showed you with the undecideds, we've seen it, we don't like it, it's time for a change. And as for Tony Abbott, remember, the one news poll number that every Labor person holds dear and close to their heart is preferred Prime Minister. Well, with 3 weeks to go, Kevin Rudd only leads by 2 points. The undecideds keep breaking against him. If this momentum continues, it is going to be an absolute smashing. Not a win, but an absolute smashing 3 weeks from today. See, I told you there was a bit of a reality check needed. You believe some of the journalists, oh, it's 50-50. Oh, they're on their way back. It's not over, but geez, it's close.